Hi, everyone, and welcome to Gentle Movement at Home for Friday, April 17th. Thanks for taking the time and being with us here today. It's amazing that you're making the time taking the time out of your day to do this. We're excited to have Neil back again 2 days in a row for us this week. So we've got a great class for you today. I'll just run through my usual bits. I'm Jen Hansen from Pain BC, and of course we have Neil Pearson with us. The session is being recorded, so although we can't see you and no one in the who's attending today is ever recorded, we are recording, and then we put the video on Facebook, and we also put it on our YouTube channel, so you can look at it after. We are streaming Facebook Live right now. That functionality is working again, and so that's great. We do have a poll at the end. If before you sign off, you could just quickly do the poll. We really appreciate your feedback, and if you have any questions for us or need help, do email education@painbc.ca. We are monitoring that through this session. Next week, we have 3 sessions scheduled. We've got one on Monday with Rebecca McDonald, who is an OT working in chronic pain. We also have one on Thursday at 11 with Sue Schellink, who's also an OT specializing in chronic pain. And then Neil is back again with us on Friday the 24th at 11 o'clock. And if you just note the times, we've got a noon hour session on Monday and then 2 11 o'clock sessions. So we hope to see you next week. With that, I am going to turn things over to Neil, and we can get started. Hope everyone has a great session today.
Great, thanks, Jen, and welcome back, everyone. As I mentioned yesterday, well, if you weren't on yesterday, didn't hear me say it, I'll say it again. We've been getting some great feedback about things that we might do differently, and yesterday we had some feedback from someone who said they hoped we'd be able to show things. If we're doing standing exercises, could we show how we would do that from a seated position? And so I'll try to do my best, make a few changes, and do my best to show you some of that today. And each time I'll try to do those things. The one option you always have, if there's a movement that you can't do for any reason, whether it's because of pain or because it's possible that someone has said this is not the right movement for you to do right now. Or maybe it's something I'm showing you in standing, and that's not a place where you can be right now. One of the options you can do is to imagine it, to imagine watching yourself doing the movements, or you can even imagine creating the sensation that you're actually doing that with your physical body. Sometimes you can, so you use this, the idea of feeling yourself doing it, or other times you can see yourself do it. So those are a couple options, and we'll play a little bit with those in some of the ongoing sessions later on. For today, what we're going to do is start in a chair, as you can see. We'll start there, and then we'll have the option of coming to standing later on. I'll show you some things to do in standing, and show you how also we could do this in a seated position. So if you're sitting, or come to a seated position, find a place where you can get your feet solid on the floor. You can see I'm in bare feet because I like to be able to feel my feet on the little yoga mat that I have down here, but they could certainly be on floor or carpet. So I feel my feet on the floor, and I create that little bit of length to my spine, so I'm not sitting up really rigid, but just that little bit of in that place where you go to when you want to pay attention to things. So you can feel your feet on the floor, and you feel that gentle lengthening of the spine. Just for a moment, scan through your body and notice any spots that might be tense, or where your body may feel like it's gripping a bit. And just see if you can find a little bit more softness there. You probably know the spots where your body tends to get tight. It's often around the face or the jaw or the tongue sometimes. It can be around the neck. Some of us hold a lot of tension right out in our hands, and some of us it's in our feet, sometimes in the back. And so whatever that area is, just from that place of feet on the floor, long spine, find a bit of softness in those places where you tend to get tight. Don't worry about having to turn it all the way off. Just try to turn it down just a bit for now. So we're going to do a bit of a different breathing practice today. What I want to work on today is to get you to breathe in a way so you feel your whole torso expanding while you breathe in on purpose. And as you breathe out, you're going to gently, but on purpose, draw back in. So sometimes with breathing techniques, we expand, we purposefully expand that as we breathe out, we let it soften, or we just release as we breathe out. Here, what we're going to do is on purpose, expand, and as you breathe out, on purpose, draw back in. So to start with, I'm actually going to get you not to even pay attention to your breath. Just take your attention to your torso. And so imagine your torso is this big tube. It's, top and bottom tube on either side. And so contract the muscles if you can gently to get that, or whole of your torso to expand out. Like you try to make it bigger. It's not going to get really bit bigger, but you feel that sensation of like your muscles and your ribs are trying to pull things out. And then you just gently draw back in. Now, drawing back in may feel actually a lot easier than drawing out, but give it a try because your muscles will do this. And now, if you want to add in the breathing, you can do that, but you can decide for yourself which way to play with this at the beginning. The idea is expand out, so like your ribs at the front and the sides and the back, and even all the way from your belly up into your neck, you're feeling like things are expanding out on purpose when you, on purpose this way, and then you draw back in. And if it feels okay to do that with your breath, as you breathe in, you expand. As you breathe out, on purpose, gently draw back in, like the whole thing is drawing back in. So if you're on yesterday, we talked about drawing in the chest and the ribs and the belly at different times. Now we're trying to get everything to draw in at the same time. So if you can, put those two things together. Breathe in, on purpose, expand. Breathe out, on purpose, draw back in. So sometimes people like to imagine it's almost like a bellows. So when you breathe in, you're contracting your muscles to draw air inside you. When you're breathing out, you're contracting the muscles to push the air back out. I know your torso isn't really shaped like a bellows, but sometimes that image of drawing in and gently pushing out works. So the idea is to do this in a way that feels like it's not all your tension, like you're not using every bit of effort you can. Just try it for a couple more breaths. And of course, remember, if you need to pause at any time, stop, regroup, catch your breath again, then come back again. So breathe in, maybe try breathing in for a count of 2, 3, or 4. You on purpose expand the front, the back, the sides, all the way from the bottom to the top. And as you breathe out for 2 or 3 or 4 seconds, just gently draw back in again. And I should mention, I realize I haven't said this before. If you feel most comfortable breathing in and out through your mouth, please go ahead and do that. If you do feel okay breathing in and out through your nose, go ahead and do that too. A lot of people find that breathing in and out through the nose, we can calm our breath and feel more soothing with it. But if that's not serving you, if that way of breathing is too hard, say maybe you have a cold today and you just can't get the air to come in and out well, then breathe in and out through your mouth, it's fine. All right, now as you finish your next exhale, just let that breath go. Just let it go, let your breath come back to its normal, easy pace. So now we're going to do a little bit of taking your attention to your body. So again, you can feel your feet on the floor, you can feel your spine tall. What I'd like you to do is to contract the muscles on the insides of your thighs so you feel like your legs are drawing in towards each other. But you're just going to contract the muscles. You're not going to actually pull your legs in. You're going to tense up the muscles like you're going to, but just a little bit. Like the idea you could make a fist with your hand as hard as you can, or you could do it as gently as you can and just feel the muscles tense up. That's what we want you to do with these muscles. So you can feel your feet on the floor, and you can feel that gentle drawing in of your legs. So there's a little bit of tension. Then take one of your hands and put it on your belly, just below your belly button. You can feel your feet on the floor. You can feel your legs drawing in. Now, the muscles right behind your hand that's on your belly, ever so gently draw those muscles in towards your spine, just a little bit. So you can feel your feet on the floor. You can feel your legs draw in a bit. You can feel your lower belly draw in just a bit. Now take that hand and move it up to the lower ribs on the front of your body. Ever so gently draw in there. So you're drawing in just a little bit with your legs, drawing in just a little bit with your lower belly, drawing in just a little bit with your ribs. Now take your attention to your shoulder blades. It's like your shoulder blades, ever so gently contract the muscles like you're going to pull them in towards each other. If you feel them pull in a bit, that's fine. The idea is just to engage the muscles there. So you can feel your feet on the floor. You can feel the drawing in of your legs. You can feel the drawing in of your lower belly, your lower ribs, and those muscles between your shoulder blades drawing in just a bit. Now, if you feel like you're getting really tense, then let go and regroup again and start to do it more gently. So again, take your feet down, or so your attention down to your feet. Ever so gently draw your legs in, lower belly in, lower ribs in, shoulder blades ever so gently draw in. Now, the last thing we want you to try is your neck. Pull the front of your neck gently back towards the back of your neck. So you might feel a little bit like your head's moving in that direction, away from that poked forward, but like a little bit engaged this way. But don't worry about getting a lot of movement. Just feel a little bit of muscle effort there. So you can feel your feet on the floor. You can feel the drawing in of your legs, the drawing in of the lower belly, lower ribs, shoulder blades, the front of your neck. You can feel all that drawing in just a little bit, the smallest amount you can do. And then for a moment, just let that go again. Shift around if you need to, or if you want to, or just stay still if you want to. Now, if seated position is the best place for you, stay in the seated position. If standing is something that's okay for you to try today, then let's get you to come up to standing. So you can do the thing. We're going to come back to the same, exactly what you just did again. So if you come to standing, I'll just move my chair out of the way. You can have your hand resting on the chair if you want to, or you can stand without the chair, whatever works best for you. So same idea, whether you're seated or whether you're standing, feel your feet on the floor, feel that gentle lengthening of your spine. Now do this as gently as you can. Draw your legs in towards each other, get those muscles engaged just a little bit. And then create a little bit of tension in the muscles in your lower belly, a little drawing in on the muscles around the lower ribs, a little drawing in around the shoulder blades, a little bit of a sense of drawing in around your neck. So everything's just drawing in just a little bit, the smallest amount you can do. Now, once you're there, see if you can continue to scan through those areas. Keep on going from your feet to your legs, to your lower belly, to your lower ribs, to your shoulder blades, and to your neck. Do it slowly. You don't have to scan through really fast. And if you start to feel like that's far too many things to pay attention to, go back and just pay attention to the things that you can pay attention to. So however much you're drawing in right now, continue to do that. We're going to add in some arm movement. So just to start, you're drawing in all those areas. Let your shoulders come up towards your ears, let them roll forward, let them come back, and just see if you can do this movement at the same time as you're doing all that gentle drawing in. So from the side, you're just lifting your shoulders up, rolling them to the front, coming back. And while I'm doing this, I'm still feeling my feet on the floor. I'm still drawing in legs, lower belly, lower ribs, shoulder blades, neck, or whatever combination of those feels like it's enough for you. And then let your shoulders relax. Let all that tension go again. Hopefully, when you let go this time, you're feeling like you weren't so tense. So each time you repeat this, try to do it even more gently. So you feel your feet on the floor again. You feel that drawing in of your legs, the drawing in of your lower belly, lower ribs, shoulder blades, neck. This time, take your arms straight out to the side. And then let your arms come on back down again. Whatever height feels good. You can take them way up high if you want to, or just take them just a little bit away from your body. Remember, the idea here is if you run into the edge of the pain, just give it a little nudge and come away again. Try to keep your breath flowing while you do it. But now what you're doing is also staying with that easy sense of drawing in. Let your arms rest. If you want to move around, go ahead. If you want to let go of that tension now, you can let go of that tension. Remember, you can do this, all the same things in the chair. So once again, feel your feet on the floor, feel that length of your spine, draw in your legs, lower belly, lower ribs, shoulder blades, neck. This time you're going to take your arms out to the side again, whatever feels okay, whatever height feels okay. If you can get them right straight out, get them there. If not, have them wherever they feel best, or imagine that movement. So wherever you've gotten to, this time, while you continue to draw in all those areas gently, look over top of your right shoulder. Come back to the center. Look over top of your other shoulder. come back to the center. And just continue to do this a few times. Now, if you feel like you need to pause, if you say that's enough, my shoulders are having enough of having your arms up, it's okay to let them down. Don't wait for me. In terms of how far you move your neck or how many times, same idea. You need to pay attention to what's happening in your breath, what's happening in your body, what's happening in your mind. If it starts to feel like it's not safe anymore, pause, shift around. All right, let your arms come on back down. Give your neck a bit of a shake around or movement around, your hips around again. So you may have been sitting in the seated position, so I'll just come back to sitting, but if you want to stay in standing, go ahead and do that. So if I come back to the seated position, same idea as before, feet on the floor, a little bit of length of the spine, gently, the smallest amount you can. Draw your legs in, lower belly, lower ribs, shoulder blades, front of the neck, so you feel that gentle drawing in. Once you start to do this more, it almost feels like giving yourself a bit of an internal hug. It's supposed to feel a nice thing, a nice sense of drawing in. That sensation of feeling a little bit more supported inside, a little bit more stable inside, not a feeling like being ripped inside. All right, so you've got all that gentle drawing in. Now come back to the breath we did at the beginning. So that breath, so you're drawing in with your legs, lower belly, lower ribs, shoulder blades, and neck. As you do that, as you breathe in, expand your rib cage out a little bit and your torso out a bit as you breathe in. And as you breathe out, draw back in. So when you breathe in, you're going to feel like you're going the opposite way of all that other drawing in. Give it a try. And as you breathe out, you're going to be doing that same drawing in of the rib cage. So slow down the pace of your breath. So if you normally breathe at about 2 seconds or so when you breathe in, just maybe go to 2.5 seconds. Right? Just make it a little bit longer. Try to feel a little bit more expansion of the rib cage than normal and a little bit more drawing in as you breathe out. To make it last a bit longer than you normally do. And so remember, you can be doing this sitting or you can do it standing. And if you lose your breath, just let it go. Pause again. When you finish your next exhale, just let that breath go. Let the muscles relax again. Again, if you want to move your body around a little bit. Now, as we continue, we're going to continue doing this gentle drawing in. It's your choice now as to what to do with your breath. Either for now, you're going to continue to check in with your breath to see that it's flowing in and out. You're not holding it too much or it's not getting tight. Or you can breathe with this really gentle bellows breath or this gentle complete breath, whichever you prefer. Right? If it felt good to draw your rib cage out and to draw the muscles back in to push the air a bit, then add that in. If that doesn't feel like it's serving you today, then stick with breathing, just watching your breath to make sure it doesn't get too tight or too shallow. All right, so now what we're going to do is just a few leg movements from this. So again, you feel your feet on the floor, you feel the gentle drawing in of legs, belly, ribs, shoulder blades, neck. And from here, if you're seated, you're just going to lift your leg up to the front and put it back down again while you continue to draw in. And here you'll do one leg and then the other. If you're in a standing position, you can do the same thing. If you want to, you can put your hands on your hips or have your arms here. The idea would be you lift your leg up, and usually feels better to breathe in while you lift up, and then the other leg up to the front. Right? Now I'm lifting my knee up pretty high. You don't have to lift it up that high. If you can, imagine like you're stepping up a step as you do this. If you're in the chair, you're just going back and forth from one leg to the other. Remember, when it's ready, when you are ready to pause, go ahead and pause while you're doing this. Now, if you've still been continuing on, now let's get you to stop for now. If your hips need to be moved around, go ahead and do that. And once you're finished with doing that, we'll start again. Back down to your feet, draw your legs in, lower belly, lower ribs, shoulder blades, neck. And this time the movement we're going to do is to take our leg to the side or take your leg to the side. So if you're standing, you're going to need to shift your weight to the side a little bit and just lift your leg out to the side and put it back down again. Now, if your balance is off, this is the time when you want to use the chair, right? So you could, I'll just show you from out here. So I could be standing like this. I'm drawing in like we talked about. Take the leg out to the side, bring it back down, put it down. Stay that gentle drawing in, stay with your breath, take your leg to the side, come on back down. Don't worry about how high you go. If you are in a chair, it's a little bit harder to do this from the seat on the edge of the chair, but you can from here. You can keep your breath flowing, keep that sense of drawing in, and take your leg just out the side. You'll need to bring your knee and your foot out at the same time, and then put your leg and foot down again. So you try to maintain that sensation of gently drawing in. If you feel it's gripping too much, try to find that softness, and then you just take your leg out to the side and put it back down again. How many times is going to matter. It's going to depend on what's happening with you. So if you start to feel like your breath is getting tighter, your body's getting too tight, then just say that's enough for right now. So if you're still going, let your legs rest, move them around a little bit. If you're sitting in the chair, shift around a little bit. And this time what we're going to do is get you to move your leg to the back, which is going to be a little bit harder in a chair. We'll need to do one side at a time. If you can, you need to be in a chair where there's not an arm to the chair. So this time you'd be letting your knee come down and your leg going back like this. So I'll show you from the side. If you're in a chair, your spine is tall, you're feeling that gentle drawing in, and then you would let your leg come back, your knee go down, and your leg go back, and then back to the front again. You'll need to do this side by itself a number of times, and then you'd have to swing around in your chair to do it the other side. Right, so if you were standing, you could stand in this kind of a position, use the chair if you need to for support. Gently draw in legs, lower belly, lower ribs, shoulder blades, neck. Support yourself as much as you need to. You put your hand on your hip if you want to, and just take that leg back to the back, and then put your foot right back down on the ground and let it relax. Make sure you're still doing that drawing in. Take the leg back, keep drawing in, keep breathing while you do it. Put your foot back down on the floor, and just try that a few more times. So you can feel your feet, you can feel the drawing in, you can feel your breath flowing in and out. Maybe you're doing that gentle bellows breath, or maybe you're just letting your breath flow, whatever you choose to do. So next time you finish moving your leg, your foot comes down, both your feet are on the ground again, then either come back to that standing position or come back to a seated position so you're here. Now this next movement I'm going to get you to do is a little bit different from a chair or for standing. So if you're standing, just hang on for a sec, and then I'll show you what it is. But from a seated position, what I'm going to get you to do is to feel your feet on the floor, feel the length of your spine, ever so gently draw in. I want you to lean forward just a little bit, put more weight on your feet, like you're going to start to stand up, like you're shifting your weight forward and you're feeling the muscles of your legs contracting, and then let your body come back down again. If you're standing, rather than coming up, we'll get you to go down. So you've got your feet about shoulder width apart. You can feel yourself drawing in just a bit, and you're just going to squat down just a little bit, then come on back up. So just try this a few times. Only go as far as you want to go. Same idea as if you're seated. Sit on the edge of the chair, feet on the floor, that gentle drawing in of legs, lower belly, lower ribs, shoulder blades, neck, just drawing in just a little bit, and then shift your weight forward, push your feet on the floor like you're going to stand up, and then come on back down again. Remember, you're just going up to the edge, the spot that feels like that's enough. Want to try to avoid going to the place where you feel like it's going to provoke things and you won't be able to recover well when you're done. You want to avoid going to the place where you feel like you're using too much energy, or you're starting to get worried that that it will actually leave you worse later. It's one of those things, if you start to feel like, oh, if I don't stop this, I'm going to be worse later, it's probably time. Just stop, relax, pause, shift around a bit. So if you're still doing one of those movements, let's get you to pause again. Check in with your body to see if there's something that needs to let go. Maybe you need to move your shoulders around, your neck around, maybe your eyebrows are getting tighter, your jaw is getting tight. Just check in to see if there's something that needs a bit of a shift before we carry on. So we're going to start to put some more of these together. So this time, what I'm going to ask you to do is, if you're okay with lifting your arms up from a seated position, you're going to feel your feet on the floor, draw in all those areas we've talked about, keep your breath flowing, take your arms up, and as you do that, take your weight forward like you're pushing your feet down, like once again, like you're going to start to stand up. And let your arms come back down, let your weight come back off your feet. Feel your feet on the floor, ever so gently draw in each of those areas. As you breathe in, your arms come up and you reach up like this. Now, if you're standing, you're going to once again do the opposite movement with your legs. So if you're standing, you got your feet underneath your hips, you feel that gentle drawing in of all those areas. As your arms come up, you're going to bend your knees a bit. You come into a bit of a squat. It's almost like from here, so you're going to start to sit down in a chair. So if you're standing, you move almost like towards sitting down. If you're seated, you move almost towards like you're coming to a standing position. Only lift your arms up as high as it feels okay. And back down again. Remember, stop when it feels like the right thing for you to do is to stop. Don't wait for me. You want to pay attention to what's going on in your mind. Pay attention to what's happening in your breath. Pay attention to what's happening with your body tension and your energy. And when you start to feel that's enough for right now, pause. And every time you pause, just check in. Let your breath calm back down again. Let your body tension calm back down again. If you need to shift or stretch something to help it calm, go ahead and do that. You can catch up once we start. So don't worry if I've started something before you're ready. Go ahead and get yourself in that place of feeling like everything's recovered again before you start again. So this time we're going to change the arm movement again. So this time your arms are going to come out to the side, and you're going to look over your shoulder, and then you're going to bring your weight forward onto your legs a little bit, and then you're going to bring your weight back down, let your arms come back down again. So as feel your feet on the floor, draw in your legs, lower belly, lower ribs, shoulder blades, neck. While you're doing all that, keep your breath flowing, let your arms come out, look over your shoulder, come on back to the front, let your arms come down. Keep drawing in just a bit. Do the same thing, arms come back up to that just right spot, look over the other side, come on back to the front, arms come down. So keep on doing that if you're seated. If you're standing, you're going to do it this way. So your feet will be underneath your hips. You'll feel your legs drawing in just a bit, lower belly, lower ribs, shoulder blades, neck. All that draws in just a little bit. Your arms come up, you bend your knees from here a little bit, look over your shoulder, come on back to the center. If you're okay with keeping your arms up, keep them there. If it's best to let them down for a moment, move them to that. Then draw in just a little bit again, keep your breath flowing, take your arms up, let your knees bend and look over top of the other shoulder. Then come on back again. So seated, as your arms come up, you're putting weight on your feet, you're looking over your shoulder. And standing, as your arms come up, you're bending your knees and looking over your shoulder. So there's a lot to do at the same time with this, but keep on doing your best. Pause anytime you want, but you can feel your feet on the floor. You can feel that gentle drawing in of legs, lower belly, lower ribs, shoulder blades, neck. Hopefully it's getting easier to do that now in a gentle way. If it's not, keep working on it. It does get easier with time to keep on trying to draw all that in together. So you're drawing all that in, you're lifting your arms up, taking the weight onto your feet, looking over your shoulder, and coming back again. If it feels best to let your arms down, let them down. So whether you're seated or standing, pause again. Shift your shoulders around, move your neck around, move your back around a little bit. Now for this last movement, what we're going to do, last movement building on these, we'll do some more things, but the last movement building on these, what I'd like you to do is if you're in a seated position and standing is not where you can get to today, what I'd like you to do is to imagine that you're standing. So you're in the seated position. Maybe it would help if you close your eyes, but to imagine that you're actually in a standing position. And so the movement you're going to imagine is that you are standing, and either that you're standing with a hand on something for balance to start or not. But you're going to move your feet. You're going to imagine that your legs are going apart. So if you are standing, let your feet come about 2 or 3 feet apart. And as you do this, you're going to take your right foot and you're going to turn it out. So the front of your foot comes out that way, so it's facing that way. Your other foot's exactly where it was before. But then you're going to turn back towards this way. Instead of looking out towards the front this way, where your foot's faced, you're going to turn to the side. So if you're in a seated position, imagine this. And so this time what you're going to do is you're going to feel your feet on the floor, which is a little bit different from here. Feel your feet, your legs drawing in just a bit. That gentle drawing in of belly and ribs and shoulder blades and neck. If you're seated, you're imagining this. If you're standing, you're doing. Take your arms out to the side, wherever feels great for the height. Look over top of that front hand and let the front knee bend. You're still drawing in, you're still breathing, then you let your body come back up, your head comes to the front, your legs, your arms go back down again. If you need to pause, you can put your legs back together again and give them a little shift around. Or you can leave them apart, because we're going to try that a few times. So if you did pause, take your feet back again to 2 or 3 feet apart, about 1 meter apart. Take that front foot and turn it so it faces out that way. But look back to the front of your body again. You can feel your feet on the floor. Ever so gently draw in with your legs, draw in with your belly, draw in with your ribs, draw in with your shoulder blades and the front of your neck. Do all that, keep your breath flowing, take your arms up to the side, look over your front hand, bend that front knee so you come down. You can still feel the drawing in and then come on back up again. And just do that a few times if that feels all right. Even if you can do it once or twice, if you say that's enough, that's enough. Do your best. Keep on drawing in all those same spots. Keep your breath flowing. One more time if you're all right with it. Remember, it's okay to pause anytime you want. And then come on back up. Let your arms come down. Turn your foot back in. Sidestep your feet back together. Come back to just standing. Now, I know this can be hard to do with imagining it. And sometimes people say, well, how about instead of imagining the whole movement, that I can imagine that I'm standing, imagining positioning my feet that way, and I actually do put that foot that way, and I do take that arm out, and I do take my neck there. So you can do that. You can add with the imagery the movements that you're okay with doing for today, and keep out the ones that your body doesn't feel ready for. So we're going to try the same thing on the other side. So remember, putting a whole bunch of things together here. Feet on the floor, that gentle drawing in of each of those areas, keeping our breath flowing, only moving so far as it feels all right. So if you're all right with standing, you stand up. You're going to take your feet 2 or 3 feet apart, 1 meter apart or so. Turn the left foot this time to face over to the left side. Keep your body open or your chest open to the side of your body. Feel your feet on the floor. Ever so gently draw your legs in towards each other. Draw your lower belly in a bit, lower ribs in a bit, shoulder blades a bit, front of the neck a bit. Take your arms up to the place that feels like it's the right amount. Turn your head over top of your left shoulder. Bend the front knee, left knee this time. Come on back up. And just do that a few times. Or maybe just do it once and you feel like that's enough for today. Remember, success is figuring out how to do this without staying provoked at the end, of knowing that even if you're nudging into that pain or the tension or your sense of energy, that you know you'll be okay when you stop, or you believe that you'll be okay when you stop. Sometimes you just don't know. If you're still moving, let your arms down. Roll your feet back in together. Sidestep your feet together. If you want to take a rest in a seated position, go ahead and do that, or stay standing. So this time we're going to try one more very same movement with all the same things, But this time what we're going to do is move to the spot. I'd like you to move to the spot where you feel like that's the place where I can stay for a few breaths. So maybe that's not as far as you were going before. Sometimes it's a little bit easier to go in and come out, but this time what you can do is go in just to that spot where you feel like I could stay here for a few breaths, or I think I could stay here. Right? So if you're in a seated position, again, do the imagery, add whatever movement you'd like. If you're standing, your feet go 2 or 3 feet apart. Roll your right foot out to the side. From here, feel your feet. To your legs, draw in your belly, your ribs, your shoulder blades, your neck. Take your arms out, look over that shoulder, and just come down to that spot where you feel like this is safe. I'll be okay later. I think I can stay 2 or 3 breaths. So still draw in all these areas. Reach out with your arms, gently look over that front hand. When you're finished that 2 or 3 breaths, let your head come back, let your arms come back. Turn your feet towards the front. Side step your feet together again. Pause for a moment. Going to do this on the other side. Maybe there's something you want to stretch or move before you do the other side. Or maybe you're feeling like that's enough. My energy is to a spot where this has felt good so far. If I keep on doing this, I'm not going to have the energy I need for the rest of my day. Wherever, if you choose that, when you sit down again, see if you can imagine this. So gently imagine. Imagine watching yourself or feeling yourself. Take your feet apart. If you are standing, go ahead and do it. Turn that left foot out to the side. Feel your feet on the floor. Feel that sensation of drawing in legs, lower belly, lower ribs, shoulder blades, neck. Take your arms up to wherever feels good. Look over top of that left hand. Bend the left knee towards that side of your body. Be in that spot where you feel like it's okay to stay, where it feels like it's safe right now. Keep your breath flowing. Keep drawing in legs, belly, ribs, shoulder blades, neck. When you finish that 2 or 3 breaths, or even before then, if it feels like the right thing to do, bring your head back, bring your arms down, straighten that knee, roll the foot back to the front, and once again, side step together. If it would feel good to shift your hips around, do that. If you're seated, you can move your body around a little bit. And if you're standing, as soon as you feel okay with coming back to a seated position, come back to a seated position again. Let your breath settle. Maybe take 2 or 3 bigger breaths on purpose, or maybe just let it settle on its own. While you're doing that, just check in, see how you're doing again. Feel your feet, feel your spine a little bit tall. Ever so gently feel that drawing in. Legs, lower belly, lower ribs, shoulder blades, neck. Just that small amount. Trying to refine it to get the smallest amount you can. And while you're doing all that, while you're drawing in, let your chin come down towards your chest. Let your shoulders round towards the front of your body. Let your whole spine round. And then come on back up to a neutral spot. And just do that a few times. So you're still doing that drawing in. From the side, the movement is chin down, shoulders round, spine round. Then come on back up to a neutral spot. Remember, even with these simple movements, pause when you need to. You don't need to continue doing them just because I haven't said stop yet. So if you are still doing the movement, stop now, come to that neutral spine position. This time we'll get you to do the opposite movement. But again, you can feel your feet, you can feel the drawing in, legs, belly, ribs, shoulder blades, neck. Your hands can be on your thighs in front of your body. This time, come back the other way, lift your chin up, pull your shoulders back, come into a bit of a back bend. It doesn't have to be big. So from the side, it would look like this. Or if you really like the movement, if you can go a long way, you can go way back like that. Whatever would feel best for you today, whatever would serve you best today. So again, while you're doing this, you're still feeling your feet and that drawing in, and you're still feeling your breath. You're gently moving your spine back and forth. If you're still with that movement, pause. Remember, you can shake anything out or stretch anything if you want to. We'll do a little bit of a side bend with our spine from that same place. Feet on the floor, that gentle drawing in, feeling the breath coming in and out. Just let your spine bend down to one side. If you'd rather do this in standing, feel free to do this in standing. And for today, for now, what we'll do is we'll just do one side and then the other. But pause just in the center before you go to the other side. Try to keep that gentle drawing in the whole time you bend down to the side, the whole time you come back up to the front. It's more to do this way. Now you're paying attention to your feet and your breath and that gentle drawing in while you do the movement. Sometimes that feels like a lot to pay attention to. And if it's more than is right, then just find something you can let go for right now and pay attention to the list of things you can pay attention to. And then pause again with that. Shift around if it would feel good. Then feel your feet on the floor again. Feel that gentle drawing in. And we'll do a gentle rotation. If you're all right with it, take your opposite elbow and your opposite hand across your arms a little bit away from your body. You can feel your feet and the drawing in and come over to one twist. Whatever side you started on at first is fine. I'm doing my left first. But you could do it right first, it's fine. Just do one side at a time with this. Try to get your head and neck to come along together so you're not doing a lot of twist in your neck for right now. We can do that neck movement at another time. So I'm still trying to get all that drawing in while I do this and then do the other side, right? So your feet are on the floor, you're drawing in, hands on the other shoulder. You can feel your spine coming around into a twist. Keep the drawing in while you come back. Great. Pause that movement again. Let your breath go again. Catch your breath if it feels tight. Scan through your body, see how you're doing. If you're in a chair that you can sit back and still feel your feet on the floor, do that. This chair really won't let me do that. So as soon as I try to get my back against there, it won't work. I have to have my feet up. So I'm going to stay on the edge of the chair. But if the chair you're in allows you to have your feet on the floor and your back supported, then go ahead and do that for right now. And then, as we've been doing, either soften your gaze, just focus on something in the room gently, or close your eyes so that you can take your attention inside, so you can notice what's happening inside right now. Notice what's happening with your breath. As best as you can, let your breath be. There's no need to change it right now. You can just let it happen. Notice what your breath feels like right now, what it's like right now. Take a scan through your body and notice how your body feels right now. Notice those areas where there might be discomfort or tension or pain. Just notice whatever's happening in your body right now. Then shift your attention to your mind and notice the thoughts that are there right now. Maybe the thoughts that you've had about movement while we're going through this practice, but also what are the thoughts that are there right now. And also notice the emotions. Notice whatever emotion is there for you right now. And maybe there were emotions arising while you're doing this gentle movement. And then take your attention to your heart, a place in you of unconditional love and wisdom, and notice whatever's happening there right now. So we'll end this movement practice and relaxation practice there for today. Again, we hope that each of these practices will allow you to find new ways to move with more ease. Because we know that moving with more ease is one of the ways to get back to our life. Not only can moving with more ease help us with more movement, some people would say motion is lotion. So movement can be good when we find the right way to do it. So we want to move with more ease so we can live well again. And I hope this has helped you on a little bit of your path towards that. I'll pass it back over to you now, Jen.
Thanks, Neil. That was a really
You're
great
welcome.
session. We're going to launch the poll now. So you can give us your feedback before you sign off. I do just want to share this, some additional resources. As you may be aware, we have our support groups running. You can register for those online, and they're all over the province. We've got one more session of Mindful Drumming at Home on April 22nd at 1:30. You can join that via Facebook Live or by registering through Zoom. And then we've got a webinar coming up on the 27th of April, and that is Coping with Pain and Anxiety During COVID with psychologist Dr. Angie G. So that should be a really interesting and informative and helpful presentation. So I hope you can join us for that. Finally, we maintain a running list of current resources on our blog. And, you know, if you're interested, I guess, in more of the science and more resources around what Neil has been talking about, we do have more information around pacing and movement activities on liveplanb.ca. You can see the long URL there, pain education, and then paced activities. You can just search for that, actually, paced activities or movement in the search, and you'll get there. So I think that's all for today. So again, thanks for joining us, and I hope everyone has a great week.